Today we are joined here with Mr. Christopher Doe, who will give us a deep insight of his experience as a Vietnamese refugee at the age of 22. So, why and how did you become a refugee?
Well, at the age of 20, I think, I was in Vietnam at the time, and I think the government tried to enlist me to join the army and go and fight in Cambodia, and I wasn't interested in any war against the Cambodians. So,
Where did you flee from and what country did you migrate to?
I think I left from the Saigon River. So we all disguised as fishermen, and we got on this small fishing boat along the Saigon River at different pickup points. And very early in the morning, I think our boat left the port of which is in the South Vietnam. And from there we sailed down south through Indonesian waters. I think we were planning to go towards Singapore at the time.
Were you a illegal refugee?
We all illegally escaped, so we had to. That's why we had to escape in front of the boat. If we got caught, I think we would have been imprisoned by the government.
How did you get to Indonesia?
Okay, we chose to escape by boat. So our family members all put in some money, and we built a boat. Okay, and we bought fuel, food, and so on and so forth. Along the trip, we obviously saw many vessels, and we were waving at them, hoping that they would come and rescue us, but none of them did. So we just continued our journey until we saw a light, very bright light at the horizon, and that was actually the flare of one of the oil and gas platforms. And that's how we actually got to the oil and gas platform and got rescued.
So, how was the environment like on the boat at sea? Were there any dangerous risks?
We never traveled by sea before, and of course, when you have to hide inside a boat at the bottom of the boat, among all the diesel tanks, lack of oxygen, many of us got seasick, right? So everyone was vomiting and so on and so forth. The boat had about 30 people on it, and 10 were children under the age of 10. So it was a difficult time. Yeah. But after a few days of traveling, you got used to the sea motion, I think. And once you got out of Vietnam, the captain allowed us to get up from where we were lying, and the sea breeze was good, and we felt better and better as the trip continued. But one incident on the trip, and that was the failure of the battery. So when the captain decided to turn the engine off to do some servicing or something like that, then he couldn't restart the engine. And when you couldn't restart the engine, the boat started to drift. And with the boat drifting away and the big storm arriving, it was very, very dangerous. So we had to work day and night trying to fix it, and eventually we managed to fix the engine, even though we were very, very tired. At one point we even shot the flare gun to get ourselves rescued by the Navy of Vietnam, and got caught. If we got caught, we would have been imprisoned, but it was so dangerous, they decided they should shoot the flare gun. Fortunately for us, nobody saw the flare gun because of the very dark sky, and eventually we managed to get the boat moving again.
How long did it take you to finally arrive at Indonesia?
I think it took us about 6 days. The last part of the trip was fun. All the dolphins were following the boat. We had a lot of laughs.
So I heard that you arrived at the refugee camps in Indonesia?
Yeah, I got to an island called Pulau Ku, I think. And then after a few weeks they transferred us to another island called Pulau Galang. And Pulau Galang is in the Riau group. which is not very far from Singapore.
What was the conditions like there in the refugee camps?
When we first arrived at the refugee camp, we were surrounded by obviously people who have got there earlier than us. Some had been there for a few years, so we were very despondent. And we were thinking maybe we have to be in this island for many years. But the process was good, and the UN High Commissioner Refugee basically organized the island, and there were enough food. There were barracks for accommodation, there were school for learning English, there were even temples and churches for people to go and pray. So overall it was good. Obviously we don't have fresh vegetables and fish, things like that, but we have plenty of canned food. So one of the things that we do every morning is to bring the canned food that was given to us by the UN down to the beach, and we waited for the islanders in the surrounding island to come in with the fresh fish and vegetable, and we barter with them, which means
So what was your daily routine there?
I think learning the new language is probably something that occupies everyone most of the day. Of course, we have to cook our own food. We also, join in with some of the activities on the island, like musical activities, Boy Scout. Some even set up shops to sell things. People who've been there earlier. Some of us volunteer to help others, building new barracks for the newcomers, working for the various foreign delegates who came to the island to interview or to process the settlement for refugees. So I work for the Canadian government and the Australian delegate for a while before I actually left.
What did you love and hate the refugee camp?
I think at the refugee camp everybody was on the same boat, So we kind of have cemented this comradeship between all of us. We all have left our families behind. So we were all in this state of mind that we were a little bit anxious, worried about what happened to the people at home. How do we send news home to our family that we are safe, that our boat eventually made it to the island? We're also very anxious about where to go. Some go to Canada, some go to US, some go to France, some go to Australia. So we all went to the library and tried to read about these countries and debate which country should be applying to go and resettle. So it's like starting life all over again, but not as a baby, but as a new settler. So that was always very interesting.
About how many people were there in your camp?
I think the camp has more than 10,000. A lot of people. Every Saturday night, I think we have musical event. At night, we all gather in the big ground and watch television. That was the first time I saw color TV, by the way. Before then, I think in Vietnam we only had black and white TV. So interesting to see the color TV the very first time in my life, and that applied to everyone.
And how long did you stay there in the camp?
I think I stayed there for about 4 months. Most of the delegates obviously went home for the Christmas holiday, so I had to wait until the New Year before they resumed the interview and the process. So eventually I think I left about February to go to Australia via Singapore. And I arrived in Australia as it was by boat. So that's good, because it has been really been processed.
Why did you pick to resettle in Australia?
Oh, I had a few choices, I think, in terms of country of settlement. Could have gone to Canada, but in Australia, as you know, your uncle already live there, so we have family members in Australia. That's easier. I think when you go to a country where you already have a relative, right, to help you resettle in a new country, that's the reason why I picked Australia to become. Australia also is a country that doesn't have a large population, so there could be also better opportunities in Australia as well. So that's the reason why I picked to go to Australia.
How long did the process take to become an Australian citizen? What did you have to go through?
And once you already accepted as a refugee, there is only, I think, a short period before you can apply for citizenship. I think it's no more than a year or something like that. So it wasn't long. Upon arrival in Australia, I stay in a hostel to study English. Each of us chose what to do after having learned English. Some decided to go back to school and do other things.
What is one word to sum up your entire journey?
As a refugee,
Yes.
I would use the word interesting. It's not something I want to do it again, but I think the journey of a refugee will strengthen you as a person. It helps you to not take things for granted, and whenever you're down, you know that you have lived through the worst, so it gives you a lot of determination, a lot of strength to get up when you fall and move on again with life. Because you go through a difficult period, and many people have lost their life at sea, right? So you do not take anything for granted. You know that you are one of the lucky ones that eventually make it through.
Did your life get back on track after resettling in Sydney, and how did you feel then?
It was always a mix of emotion once you get to a new country. At first, you always miss your family, you miss home, because the culture here is totally different from the culture that you know. You always miss home, you miss your friends, and not know whether you ever see your family again. So that's the part that is sad. The part that is obviously positive is you get to start a new life again, right? And that is a life that is open to you with all the opportunities, and it's up to you what you make out of that life. So whenever I feel sad, I think about all the people who have lost their life, or the people who got in prison because they didn't get out of Vietnam successfully. And I know that I was very lucky, and because of that, it gave me strength to move on and to build dreams and hopes and all that. So I think very quickly after I got to Australia, I took some of the courses the Australian government offered, like English, right? And I think within 6 months of preparation, I came back to university in year 3 and finished my course and came out and worked for the oil and gas industry. So it didn't take me long at all to resettle. The Australian government was very, very helpful in many ways. Firstly, to accommodate us, give us new opportunities, give us some social welfare when we didn't have any money, give us the means to go to school, open the university for us if we want to go to university. So basically all the opportunities are there. Just up to you if you want to grab those opportunities.
Is there anything you will take away in your experience as a refugee?
One thing that may be most important is even in the darkest situation, when everything seems to go wrong, if you can keep your hope alive, you would be able to advance yourself. The second thing is about luck. There are many of us as Vietnamese refugees who never made it to the other shore. they got caught by pirates. Their boat sank because of bad weather. So you got to be thankful that somehow your boat made it.
Well, I'm glad that everything has worked out well for you. We have gained a lot from this interview, and thank you very much for coming and sparing some of your time with us.
You are most welcome.